Hey Milligan, welcome to the first episode of the 2010 edition of MovieBuffs, Milligan's own film review program. I'm Andrew Green.
And I'm Matt Tallman, and today we're going to review Peter Jackson's new thriller, The Lovely Bones.
The Lovely Bones is a thriller about a young girl named Susie Salmon who gets murdered at the age of 14 by her neighbor. After her murder, she is transported to this otherworld afterlife area that's kind of like this magical land that's composed of images and lands from her wildest dreams, and it's almost like a perfect world for her. However, she's always overshadowed by the fact that she was murdered so young and that her murderer seems to be getting away with it. While she's in this land, she's able to watch over her family and kind of communicate with them from the afterlife. And so the whole time she's kind of dealing with tension between her desire for justice for her murderer, but also for her family to heal. And in the end, she kind of has to make a choice between which one is more important to her.
And one thing I really liked about this movie was those relationships, and especially the relationship between Susie and her father. I feel like they do an excellent job of setting up that relationship before the murder, and then they do a great job of showing the father's hurt and pain and kind of desperation to bring justice to the situation. And they also do a good job of showing Susie and she trying to bring peace kind of back to the family throughout the situation.
One of the things I really loved about this film was Stanley Tucci's performance as George Harvey, the murdering neighbor.
Actually, I have to go.
No, be polite. Be polite.
He's just so creepy in this movie. It really is an excellent showcase of his acting ability. It's very unique for him compared to the other things I've seen him in, and really he just creates this character that makes the viewer just as unsettled as any characters on screen. He's kind of a mixture between the Buffalo Bill character, the murderer from Silence of the Lambs, and then the generic nice guy who lives down the street. So I have a big hats off to Stanley Tucci in this role. One of the things I didn't really like, though, was actually within the story. It set everything up well. You know, I followed it, and I was really enjoying where it was going. But in the end, I didn't feel like it really resolved everything very well. There were a lot of really good, deep issues that this film brought up that I was really hoping that it would explore deeper and maybe bring some resolution to at the end. But I feel like the ending slights those deeper issues in favor for ones that are a little bit more shallow to me, and I didn't feel like they had a very strong foundation for them. But it wasn't enough to ruin the movie for me, so that was good. But I do wish that they had focused more on those deeper issues that I was really getting into.
Another thing that I really didn't like about the movie was the use of the CG. I'm not a huge fan of CG anyway, but I felt like this movie took a little bit too far at times. Most of the dream-like sequences that Susie's involved in are nothing but CG, and those flow okay, but not only did they do that in the dream sequences, they carried the CG over to the real world and used that a little bit too much, and by the end of the movie, it was very apparent you were watching something digitally enhanced.
All things considered, we have a very neutral opinion on this movie. It wasn't anything, particularly incredible, but it certainly wasn't a bad movie. My recommendation is, if this sounds like a movie you're interested in, then you should go see it. It's very enjoyable, and there's a lot of stuff there to really enjoy. However, if this doesn't really sound like your cup of tea, then I wouldn't give any strong recommendation to see it, because you won't be missing out on much. Overall, we give this film 3 stars out of 5. We want to thank Reel to Reel Cinemas and Carmike Cinemas for their help in this, and we'll see you next week.